I'm Rachel,
I'm Ivy.
and we are Swords and Sapphics, a podcast all about queer media, representation, and women with a capital W.
Hello.
Hello.
What are we talking about today?
I don't know. What are we talking about today?
Everything and nothing. We're not talking to anyone today. Something new and different.
Mm.
We're just gonna be catching up a bit, and we have a few listeners' questions from our Discord. So we're gonna go
Yeah.
through that. And we'll see where it's gonna take us.
Yeah.
It'll be very impulsive. Huh?
It's always a surprise.
It always is. So without further ado, what are you enjoying these days?
I'm playing and watching The Last of Us, but I can't talk about it. I've been watching a lot of Vampire Diaries again. I watched the two Zombieland movies, which was fun. Yeah, I don't have much. How about you?
Aren't you reading something?
I'm reading Kilted Lovers by Megan Clawford, I think. Um, which is fun so far. I haven't gotten that far into it yet. But it's a Scottish bagpiper and a royal, which,
Mm.
royal stories are hit and miss for me because I don't really like the royal family. But
Yeah.
I'm pretending that's not the case and enjoying it. It's very fun and there's some mental health rep there already, so that's nice.
Oh,
I just re finished Tied by LJ Shen, which I'm, I'm ashamed to admit, but sometimes I have to go to LJ Shen because I don't often find authors who give me the angst that I really crave in
get it.
romance. I like a lot of pain and arguments and bad stuff. So I just finished that. I w wouldn't recommend it. It was terrible, but I loved it.
It was. That was great.
Lots of lots of questionable references, lots of borderline offensive language. Terrible, absolutely terrible. I'm
So many
ashamed
red
of me.
flags.
I know, which makes me a red flag for reading it.
Not really.
Yeah. I think that's it. Is it? I don't know. Don't know anymore.
I read a lot. I read a lot these days, mostly
Yeah.
because I'm on my vacation right now. So that is a lot. We did not talk about Sunrise on the Reaping, actually.
Oh, that's true. That's
But
very
we
true.
both read it, and we rewatched the entire Hunger Games movies, all
Me
of them,
too.
all four of them. Yeah, and then we are excited for every day we get a new casting, so that's cool.
Yeah, I love it. Haymitch was always my favorite character. I'm a sucker for an alcoholic man with trauma.
Yeah.
Which is actually why I was watching Zombieland because Woody Harrelson was there and I'm enjoying him these days.
As he should.
It was a very beautiful book, very painful. I would argue it was Suzanne's best yet, but that I'm kind of biased because
Mm,
I love Haymitch.
I get it. It felt like, I think it felt more like the original trilogy because it was closer to it.
Yeah.
I have to say, I think Songbird Ballad, I don't remember the name.
Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
There you have it. Was one of my more favorites, I think. And it was unexpected because was not excited for it whatsoever. Like I didn't
Yeah.
really care about it. And then I listened to it on audio and it's yeah.
Yeah, I with Ballad, I think it was very, very different.
It was.
I feel like the writing style was definitely more on the adult side, although my cousin is reading it right now and she's enjoying it fine. So it's not like off limits, but
Mhm.
I don't think anybody particularly wanted the Snow origin story because he's like the worst man on earth
Mhm.
and supposed to be. But at the same time, we all knew she would do a decent job of it because it's Suzanne Collins and he is a very intriguing villain, and this cemented it. And also, I really loved that. I I see now that the whole time she was like building more to like the origins of the Covey
Hmm.
and the roots of District 12 being more like the wandering musicians and like it wasn't always supposed to be the way that it was.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but it was different. I think I was always waiting for something big to happen because the other books, they're in the Hunger Games, there's
Mm.
blood, there's guts, there's like angst. So like getting used to a different pacing was also difficult for me. It
Mm.
wasn't my favorite, but I appreciate it more. Every The thing I love about the Hunger Games is every time a new book or movie comes out, it feels like the first time again because you know things that you didn't know the first time you was watching it, and it just makes me feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite character in the Hunger Games?
Ugh, I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite. I think, well, I mean, Finnick is in like obviously in one of the
Yeah.
higher ups there. I
Oh,
don't think I have a favorite actually. I would ask about yours, but you've answered that one. And outside of Haymitch.
also Finnick, but that's very predictable of me.
Mm.
I appreciate Peter more and more the older I get. Like, I think at the time when it came out as a young adult, all the book boyfriends had an edge to them that I
Mm.
liked, and I didn't. So Peter to me felt boring, but he's such a beautiful character, like to read as an adult, and
It's true.
I love him. And he's smarter than he seems, like
Mhm.
when you're not paying attention.
Yeah, it's true.
What else have you been reading?
I have read, oh, Hannah Bonham Young, Out
Hmm.
on the Limb and Out in the Woods. These are such a good books. Like they're fantastic. The first one has a lot of disability rep because the writer herself, she has a limb difference. So sh in at the beginning there is like a letter from the author and she was describing this book being like something that she wanted to explore when it came to her own motherhood because she f that it was different for her when she became mother because of like the phrases like another set of hands and stuff like that when she didn't really have you know things like that. So with that book, like she tried to explore that. And it's really funny, like the characters. So the main character has also 11 difference, and the love interest has a prosthetic leg, and they met up at a costume party, both dressed as pirates. And that's just glorious. It was so funny. Yeah, it was very good book. And the second one was marriage that needed a lot of a fixing, and that's my favorite thing in the world. So
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoy her a lot. She's a really great writer.
Yeah.
And then I read some Ilana Andrews, still on that. Some Alien Smut, some more Lore Olympus, you know, the huge for me when I'm on my vacation, I guess. Yeah,
A little bit of everything.
a little bit of everything, it's true. And right now I'm reading The Twisted Throne by Danielle L. Jensen, which again, I really love.
We've all,
I rewatched Ted Lasso.
oh yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And now we're watching Trying again. Once again, Apple TV, my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've also been watching Yellow Jackets.
we have.
One episode at least.
That's true.
We're getting through it slowly.
Yeah. Well, it's terrifying as fuck.
Yeah.
I I had it. I actually a few days ago. I forgot about it. I had a dream about the end of the sec third episode. I was
Mhm.
supposed to climb on some attic and I didn't wanna because I was
Mm.
terrified there's gonna be that person.
Yeah.
Um, yes, that was cool. It would be different if there was a human being that I could possibly sacrifice if someone like that came into my house, you know?
Mm.
But I
Yeah.
don't have it. So it's very terrifying.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really it for me, I think.
Yeah, I can't think of much. How about games?
We'll, well, I guess only Sims, which
Hmm.
by the way, I think we didn't talk about it. Rachel downloaded mods.
I did. It was a mistake, but I can't stop. And it was literally a gateway drug because
Mhm.
well, actually the first mod I downloaded was the ballet one because I wanted my sim to be a ballet dancer. And then I was like just a little mod, just a little one. And then I downloaded base mental drugs so that my sims could be addicts because once again, something wrong with me and addictions. And then I downloaded Wonderful Whims because I ain't having them fucking in front of me, in front of my salad. I will never get to that point with the Wicked Whims. So I got Wonderful because I'm pure. I'm pure of heart. And then last of all, I got the health one. So now my Sims get a lot of yeast infections. Um, they get a lot. Oh, I've had anemia multiple times, which feels like a warning to me because I've been anemic. I've been known to have low iron levels.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's all just it's terrible. I didn't think it through because my cousin comes on weekend. She's 12, and I can't play it in front of her now because my Sims be rolling MDMA and getting STIs and shit.
Yeah.
The first thing that happened when I downloaded Wonderful Whims was my one of my Sims immediately got crabs.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens.
I've suffered from two cardiac explosions. Might have had something to do with the Molly that I was on at the time. Yeah, so I've been going through a lot with that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that to myself.
Because you love it. It's fun.
I
It's good
do.
fun.
I
A
do.
completely different game. And I feel slightly closer to you because there was a time where you were playing the most innocent type of Sims there could be. And I was like building my own strip club where everybody like got so high they died. So now the levels are slightly more leveled, you know.
I do kind of want a strip club.
I know, it's great.
You get it with Wicked Whims.
Mm,
Yeah, I can't. I'm not doing it. I
yeah.
won't. I
Yeah.
shan't. I
I
won't.
think there is when having Wicked Whims, there is some sort of like a streamer's version, or like you turn on a streamer
Oh, right,
thingy,
yeah.
so it's not very explicit because obviously,
Yeah. I just can't be surrounded by that much sex.
yeah. It's worse when because there are some animations that have um the sound effects are obviously taken from a real movies. So that's when it gets slightly, slightly different. Yeah.
It's so bad. We're playing Sims and nobody will talk for a while because we're both engrossed in the game. And then Ivy's like, "Oh no, this couple's fucking in my house."
Honestly, I have a business now. I have two businesses. I have a ballet studio and a tattoo parlor. When I have the ballet studio open, every now and then there is someone just going at it all by themselves in the tattoo in the like on the same spot. So I have to check that I didn't fucking put like because with Wicked Whims you get this sort of like a sticker on the floor where it's safe to have sex or like or on the ground
Oh
or on the wall.
my
But I don't
God.
think I put anywhere. I was like, that is very, that is something that you do with very much your brain turned on.
Yeah,
That's what she said. But
yeah.
I didn't do anything. I didn't do that. And I don't know why they're going on the same place.
It should be like how you can lock and unlock doors and set places for employees. There should be one where you're not allowed to have sex.
You can have that. Actually, you
Oh,
know what?
yeah,
I have to put it up actually, I think maybe. Oh my
maybe.
God. Honestly.
And don't forget that you. Oh, I think we talked about it already, but your character got pregnant, the man, Adam. No, not
Oh,
Adam.
we didn't talk
Right.
about it actually.
Did we not?
Kind, yeah, because we're doing the Genesis challenge where you start with Adam and Eve and you want to. just breed yourself so much that you like have the entire world filled with your
Repopulate the earth.
yeah. And so my on my second generation, of course, I had Abel and Cain. Abel, by the way, died the minute he turned a teenager. He
It
got
was
electrocuted. So
written in the stars.
just cool because I didn't really like him and I didn't want to play it with him. But Cain now has his own family and when his when his girlfriend was pregnant, he got abducted by aliens. And I was like, if the first time I'm gonna get alien pregnancy is gonna be now when I want it the least, I'm gonna lose my shit. I was like, I said out loud, I hope he's not gonna get pregnant. He fucking got pregnant. It was awful.
At the same time as his wife.
It was so awful. It was so awful. So now I have an alien kid, which I do not care about at all. It's a boy. Like, I
The
just don't.
Bible took a turn.
Yeah. It's a little fun fiction version of it, I guess.
And on the seventh day, Cain got abducted by aliens and came home pregnant.
Yes. And then when a girlie was pregnant again, he got kidnapped again. But luckily, there's no baby this time.
Just trying to steal her thunder.
That's what it feels like. And what was even funnier because at that point it was dark and he had like the moodlet like being scared because oh the alien abduction did not happen or did it? And then he got abducted. I was like, fucking hell, man.
Oh my God, did the aliens wipe their memories of the alien abduction? He's doing a Dana Scully. This happened to Dana Scully.
Did they have a
I
baby after
swear.
that?
I think that's how they have their baby. I'm not that far into it
Hmm.
yet. I think they made a baby out of Scully and Mulder's
Oh.
things, but Dana was abducted quite a lot. And I do recall she was pregnant in real life when she was filming it, but they showed like the baby bump when she was in the alien abduction place. So
All right.
I do believe so. I do
Oh my
believe.
God. Look at that.
I know.
There you have it. Yeah. It's great.
Life imitates art.
Though, like when the baby is born, you can send it back to the pollinator mother. But I was like, that felt so
God.
sad. I felt so mean, so I didn't do it, and now I regret it because I can't stand that kid.
Oh, well, maybe she'll come back for him one day.
Fingers crossed.
Maybe somebody will accidentally leave him outside in the middle of a st lightning storm or something. Oh,
I moved out, so I'm not playing it with this household
okay.
now for a bit. However, because I'm living in the same world, like in the same neighborhood, he keeps walking around my house.
Yeah.
I didn't even have the energy to change his clothing when he grew up because I was like, I can't be bothered. So he has these awful, awful shoes. And that's how I recognize it's my nephew now.
How do you have the strength to say goodbye to the family you were playing with and start a new one? Because I can't do it.
I don't. Because when with I wanted to play with Crane because I had like this whole idea for him. But then I really like he got a baby sister. I was like, I want to play as Lilith now, and I had great ideas for her. So I had them move together, even though like on this they had on the same lot, they had each their own houses and they were hanging out together. I was like, that's nice. You know, their father was abusive, so now they're gonna just be enstrained by the bond, especially after their brother passed.
Yeah.
And now I want as the teenager is as like the teenager daughter that I have, which is Maze. And I'm just waiting for her to grow up. But then I still want to do stuff with Lilith, the actress slash singer, and her pottery wife, soon to be
Hmm.
wife at some point. So I was like, just gonna do a little thing with them, and then I'm gonna go back to the
Okay.
rest. You know,
Okay.
it's difficult. It's difficult. I
I
can't.
know. I've had this family since I got the high school pack, and the teenagers I started with are adults now, and the single mother died. And it was really hard for me not to let her be a ghost in the household. I was like, no, I need to let her go.
Yeah, it's
But she,
hard. Yeah,
like, change happens, and I don't like it.
I know.
my man's he went through a whole mental breakdown because he's an actor and he's been exposed to drugs. So he's had a few um babies out of marriage, out of wedlock.
Of course.
And I keep moving them into my house. But I've got no room now to like let my other Sims be pregnant because I keep taking on the babies, the bastard children.
I think that's why I never really got anywhere past the second or third generation because I couldn't like say goodbye. And once the first sim you start with turn into an elder, like that's painful. Like that's painful. So
It
now
is.
Adam is dead. Eve is an elder, and I'm slightly in the morning. Well, not Adam because I turned him into a piece of shit,
Well,
which
yeah.
felt great for me. But yeah, it's hard. I think it's gonna hit me more now with the second generation when they're gonna turn elders because I get attached to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what makes it easier for me is that I already had such a great ideas for what to do with the next children that like I have something to look forward to, you know.
Yeah. I must admit, one of my character's children is now a teenager and he keeps getting caught smoking pot. So I'm quite enjoying his chapter in life now.
Yeah, of course.
I think he's going to be a drug dealer. I have the aspiration where he has to research a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I had that too in my previous save file or the one before that. And then I had so much fun with it, and I got tired of the girl anyway, so I let her overdose, and that was great and die.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out for weeks why I kept getting cardiac explosions, and I do think she had some bad Molly or ecstasy. I think
Mm.
that's what it was.
Yeah, yeah, that might be
Because
one of
she
the reasons.
stopped finally. I was taking her to the doctors. I was sending her everywhere. For every like mod that I had, I was sending her to that doctor, and everyone was saying she was fine. And I was like, no, because she keeps cardiac exploding. And it was terrible,
Yeah,
traumatic.
yeah, it is. It's hard. It's hard to take care of them.
It is. I also got really sad because one of my Sims started going through perimenopause. It was actually Delilah because I made the cast of Delilah Green Doesn't Care and all the books in the Bright Falls series. Um, and I wanted her to have babies eventually, but now she's in menopause.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah, I get it.
I've
With
gone through a lot.
Lilith, I was like, I just want her to be the cool lesbian aunt. I don't think I want her to have kids. But then
Yeah.
I was like, it'd be so cute to have little babies going around the pottery studio, you know,
It
and
just makes it really fun when you have babies.
yeah.
I like it when they're pregnant as well, which is annoying because I don't like in real life, I don't do babies or pregnancies.
Mm,
But in Sims, it's always fun,
I
you know?
know. However, I have a mod, it's like more like family choices and stuff, and her new girlfriend does not want to have children.
Oh,
I know. I could manually change it, but I like to keep I cheat a lot, but not with these. I often don't because I just want at least, you know, it will push me to do something else.
yeah, that's true.
But it just
Or
makes
you could have the angst of her not wanting children and then ending up with a child. She's
well,
like, you trapped me in this.
I had that with Adam, but like they get really mean moodlets and then the kids know.
Oh
Like
no.
the kids
Oh God,
have the
no.
I know the sentiments about them, like unwanted child and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, we don't need any more of that. That in
No.
real life.
No, we fucking do not. No. It just makes
That's
me
one
awfully,
toxic
awfully
part.
sad.
No. I love how we can handle everything except for except for children feeling unwanted. I wonder
Yeah.
what that might mean.
I
What
don't
that
know.
might
I don't
say
know what
about
you're
us.
talking about. Yeah, I can't see what would that be about? No. Yeah, it's hard.
It is. Yeah. I did also start The Punisher.
Mm.
I'm watching it out of order. I watched an episode last night and realized that I do, in fact, need to watch it in order because Karen, Karen and Frank's relationship clearly started in Daredevil when she was representing him as a lawyer. So I've skipped their meet cutes and stuff. I don't know how they found got to each other. So I'm gonna have to go back to Daredevil now. But I really like Frank Castle really a lot. Oh, and Billy Russo, who's played by Ben Barnes, had a really hot sex scene with Madani. That was really hot.
I know. I think that's when around that was around the time where I stopped watching The Punisher because it was during my Ben Barnes era, and I
Oh
got
yeah.
so jealous. I couldn't get over it. So that's where I stopped.
In hell. I don't think it's gonna last if that's any consolation. Like
I know. I don't. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I know about his character a lot, but like, it just really I couldn't watch that. I was like, no, I just can't do that. Yeah. Which,
oh
yeah.
man. I feel conflicted about because the trope is that he's looking for the people who killed his wife and family. So I'm like, as his wife, as his dead wife, I would wish for him to stay loyal and never love another woman. But Karen comes along and I love her and I love the ship that's happening for
Yeah.
me. So it's really hard to know where your loyalty should lie sometimes.
Tell me about it. Yeah. Yeah.
And I did watch the first episode of Daredevil.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, I'm gonna have to find out when Frank comes in it to give me like some incentive to go back to it. I
Season
enjoyed
two,
it,
we've
but
already been through that.
that means I have to watch a lot before I get to
Yeah, but
him.
you have Jessica Jones, a teeny tiny woman just beating up men. It's glorious.
But I really enjoy big, moody, beefy, traumatized, violent man.
Well, you have a teeny tiny traumatized violent woman because with um Killjoy as David Tennant is there.
Mm. Yeah, that does. I have wanted to watch that one for a while. Yeah, I'm stuck. Anyway, I think that's it.
Otherwise, other than that, we are playing Disney. There's a really
Yeah.
nice Star Path with Alice in the Wonderland.
Oh yeah, I got an acorn teapot.
You did it, yeah, Grunty Pots.
I'm
And
really
your little
excited.
butterfly companion.
Yeah, I cried. I've
Yeah.
been going through a lot of hormonally recently.
Mm,
Um, and I cried at the little butterfly companion.
yeah.
And I claimed him by accident, so it was a really nice surprise to suddenly have him.
Yeah, there you have it. And we've been playing Fortnite. One of us
Wait,
excitedly, the other one against her will. Really.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't mad about playing it last night, but it went really badly, and so I quickly got turned off.
Well, yeah, I was about to say like your cousin played more than you did last night, so I don't know if that
Yeah,
really
but
counts.
I was the one who suggested playing it
That's
to
true.
begin with.
That's true.
But then we kept dying, and I never killed anybody, so it quickly changed. It's just hard.
It
Hard
is.
this game in life.
For me
On
too.
but going back to The Last of Us, if you didn't know, there is a sapphic ship in season 2/part 2, so I
Mm,
would recommend it just for that. And that's all I'll say on the matter.
beautiful. Should we get to the listener questions?
Yeah.
One is from Lillian, and that's for you. What are your favorite things about Kill Me Softly, your new upcoming book?
Yes. I guess to introduce it, I don't know if I introduced it or not before, but the cover was just recently revealed. So go to my social media to find out more about it. But it's a pottery romance. It's a little new adulty. It's steamy. There's a little ghost scene, with the hands and the clay, and it's opposites attract, and they hate each other, but mostly she hates him, and mostly he is in love with her. And I love it so much. What was the question?
What are your favorite things about it?
Okay. I have a lot, this is one of those books that I feel quite proud of. It didn't go through a whole lot of edits.
Mm.
Apparently, it didn't need much. It was actually quite challenging to write, but at the end of it, I felt really, really proud of it. One of my favorite things to write was um Aiden and Juniper because they're both neurodivergent. Juniper has ADHD and Aiden has anxiety, and it felt like I could sprinkle a little bit of my own brain stuff into there, but also knowing that it's going to be traditionally published rather than indie publishing, which is like a lot smaller reach of readers. I do kind of feel like a little tiny responsibility to represent things that I don't always see in traditionally published books, but also just be quite honest and vulnerable about it. And I feel like that book is a lot of vulnerable. And yeah, I don't know. I think I made something a little bit special with I got a lot of feedback after Kindling, um, how happy readers were to have like a bisexual character and a plus size character. So to be able to add a little more this time, like a little more inner stuff as well. I think that I hope that readers will kind of be glad to see it on the page. But also, I really enjoyed watching the Great Pottery Throwdown the whole time I was writing it. And I love writing about art. I love writing how important art is and how beautiful it can be and what it means to everybody individually. So that was always a big thing. And I'd actually been wanting to write pottery for a while. When my editor pitched kindling as a woodcutter, like to kind of be inspired by Thorin Bradley on TikTok. I was like, oh yeah, I'm partial to a TikTok woodcutter, but I also like TikTok potters.
Mhm.
Something about the hands.
It
So
is
I was always very excited to write that.
very valid.
Yeah. But mostly I'm not used to writing in like a classroom setting, which is funny
Mhm.
because I did a lot of academic stuff
Mhm.
growing up. I went to uni, I did the whole thing, but I've never written a book set in university. So that was fun as well.
Good.
It was a little bit different. That was really hard work. I hope I don't get asked to go on any podcast to talk about this book because that was a fucking disaster. Let me tell you.
Um, Another we have from Magnolia,
Hmm.
one for you, one for me, and another for you. So first, pros and cons of trad versus indie.
Okay. I mean, we've talked about them a lot on this podcast by now. Pros of indie, you get to control everything.
Hmm.
You can do whatever you want with it. You can put whatever you want into the universe. You can decide how much you want it to fit the market, decide what the cover will look like, how you will approach everything. You're on your own time schedule. You don't need to have your emails waiting in someone else's inbox for 5,000 years, which is something that I've experienced a lot of this year and something that's frustrated me a lot. But of course, if you want your books in readers' hands, it's actually a really hard thing to do as an indie publisher. A lot of it is just luck,
Hmm.
like that somebody will see your TikTok at the right time, or that you'll get into a bookstore, or that you'll get those sales. And because because indie is such a big thing now, anybody can do it, and people are really enjoying that aspect of it. It's just getting harder to not be buried under
Hmm.
other books, other things. Even if your book is completely unique, it's hard to get it. People just aren't really paying attention. The world is so busy now.
Hmm.
And pros of traditional. It's a really nice feeling to kind of have a team behind you who are like, your book is really good. We're gonna market it really well. We'll do this and this and this, and you can just you write the book and then you can just throw it away to someone else, and it's someone else's problem, and that's really is really helpful if you don't like marketing, because I fucking hate marketing. Obviously, like every book you publish in trad spaces isn't like another way of getting on the radar and kind of building up your career so that you can keep doing it.
Hmm.
It's nice to have the validation of a team of people who are doing edits and telling you what and kind of guiding you to how to get more readers, how to be a better author, because I'm still learning every time I put out a book. But the cons. I've talked about it before. It's kind of a bleak industry right now. You're not gonna get much money from either one, but you're rarely like valued for on either on either side. And publishers are really busy and understaffed and overworked, so it's a long wait. You have to have a lot of patience, and sometimes you feel like you're kind of shouting out into the void, and you don't really get m many of your needs met in like the sense of communication or reassurance or a fit schedule. But that is my experience with an IP work. With Honeymoon for One, it was a lot different. It was a longer process, but people were more transparent about what I should be expecting from it.
Yeah.
So it completely depends. It depends on everything. It depends on where your publisher's at and what you need. I think a lot of neurodivergent authors, especially, prefer to have it in their own hands to control it because it's really hard when something has to change. Like Summer at the Scottish Castle title changed, and I had to have like a really long think about if that's what I wanted. And I still don't know if it was a mistake or not because the book doesn't do that well. And I still have to accept that that book that I really loved and poured a lot of myself into isn't that great, isn't doing that great. And maybe I should have stood up for it more, or maybe I should have just let it happen. You
Hmm.
never know. Every experience and every book is different. What about you? You're into indie now. What do you think?
I don't know. It's a short story. I didn't expect much, so I don't think I'm that. It's not that big of a deal for me, especially because I have a full-time job. Like this is something I
Yeah,
did, like a little thing on the side. So I don't have much to say for that, I think.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the thing. You can never expect too much, but when you get into kind of traditional publishing where you're putting a lot of work into it
Mm.
and other people are in control of the outcome, you have to know when you're allowed to expect more.
Yeah.
And you also have to be aware that you're not always going to get it. Our last episode with Rebecca Thorne was like very insightful to that. But I've talked about it quite a few times here as well. But it is a struggle. It's not easy. It's the shape of the industry is just not meant to benefit authors. We're on the bottom of the food chain. Everybody else, bar agents who are in like their own agency, who've built their own agency, get a fixed salary, they get an income, but we don't get that. We get advances that don't always pay, they won't pay the bills. They won't like keep you stable even if you're working for months on end on one book. And that's really hard to come to terms with. It's not great. There's a lot to complain about, but I would do it again and again and again because it's such a nice feeling to have your books seen on shelves and in put in readers' hands. And that's just not something I've been able to achieve well with indie publishing.
So for Magnolia, for me, is any specific writing project you're working on that we can look forward to? I have
Yeah.
bajillions.
You do have bajillions.
I have so many, and it's an issue because I have still two finished books. I still haven't managed to edit anything out of that. I am working on another short story, which is based or inspired by a Czech Christmas fairy tale, but sapphic and with a witch, which I'm really enjoying.
I really am interested in Slavic folklore, so I'm gonna need you to give us a lot of Czech stories.
I honestly like there are so many like Czech things that I would love to do like a retelling of just
Yeah.
because it's not out in the world or not that I know of and it feels like a little sad for me because some of the, especially the older ones are just banging. And that's also like I think it's because I'm so nostalgic to it because it's part of my childhood, you know.
Yeah. A question about that then. Because you said that like there's not many Czech publishers or Czech authors. Is it uh, like so for me, writing was always an option, but like when you were studying like English or Czech or whatever, was it ever did it ever feel like an option for you? Like, do they is it structured in a way where like it's just not considered because you don't have a lot of it?
Now it's slightly different. There's more Czech writers. especially because there was this project called Pointa, where it was a community where when you have a manuscript, they could some editors could help you.
Hmm.
Uh, some illustrators would do the covers, and
Hmm.
then it would be based on sort of like a crowdfunding where if you reach a specific amount of pre-orders, then it would be published and go on the shelf
Mm.
in a bookstore, which helped a lot.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a writer. Like when I was at school, like I was the part of Czech language where I could write, like that was my favorite part. Like that's what I
Mm.
thrived. But I knew back then, like it would never be a job opportunity for me, like not in the world.
Yeah.
Like that's why I went to marketing because at least there I could write,
Yeah.
but it was never an option.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
Yeah. I did a lot of mourning of that. Yeah, I was
Yeah, it
right.
makes sense. Now look at you. You did it anyway.
Do that anyway. And that's only because of English, like only because that I started reading in English.
Yeah.
That's where the the relationship I have with that language changed and shifted a lot.
Is that why it's like not really a thing? Because Czechs, it's not a small country, but it's c compared to like, the English language speaking countries, you're not gonna get like it's just not really a market because it's just constricted to just Czech speakers. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
why?
that definitely. Also, like, I guess you could also sell it to Slovakia because
Hmm.
that's similar, but it's even if you will would get it published, it would never be a full-time job. Like I think I don't know how it's now, but like a few years ago we only have like two people who are
It's crazy.
full-time writers, and
Yeah.
one of them is a director on the side.
And
So
and they do they do it in Czech language?
yeah, and like the market for that is different because they were like old middle-aged men. So the books were for like older
Mm.
people, but especially when it comes to like young adult or like a new adult scene, I don't think it because I mean we're not small, but we're not big. So like there's 10 million of us.
Yeah.
And then the market is tiny, like we're talking about like thousands of people who if they even read.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, to make it worth the money that's spent on publishing, it needs to earn it, and that's hard enough
Yeah.
in any country.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and translations are definitely non-existent. Like I think like only like all the writers that are dead now are, are the only one
Yeah.
translated, like fucking Kafka and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Interesting.
yeah,
Well, thank goodness you learned English, I guess.
yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't have. I didn't think I would have, and nothing that I have now, I would have if I didn't know English. Like you, my jaw, nothing.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a lot to think about.
it is. But how annoying
I know.
that you had to learn a whole new language to be able to do things you love.
Yeah, it is sad. Yeah. But it is what it is.
It
Honestly,
is what it
it is
is.
what it is.
Mhm.
Another question from Magnolia is, well, she said that she'd be hanging out on the podcast, so maybe we've spoken about it, and I can't also remember.
I never
She'd be
know.
curious to hear how you find your agent.
Oh, right, yeah. I think we have released a couple podcast episodes where we talk publishing steps, marketing steps, but I never know how much detail I've gone into.
Hmm.
Um, so I was really lucky. My story is not something you can learn from. I can't give you much insight. It's I was just very lucky. It was the right place, right time kind of thing. So I decided to write something for me because at the time I was freelancing for Scribd, which is now Everend, which is where my audiobooks and my stories started. And I really was enjoying that, but it wasn't going to get me into traditional publishing because it was just a small, just for just for the app, basically, just for the readers of that app. And one of my other freelance friends who was in the same position started it, so I kind of had their advice as well. I saw a lot of small publishers, like indie publishers, were asking for certain things, and one of them was like a sapphic romance, and I'd always wanted to write more holiday romances. So I wrote Honeymoon for one, and it was just originally novella because that was the length I was used to writing it in. And I started with just indie publishers who I th hoped might like it, like who did I do it with? Wild Rose Press, I think, was one of them. Nine Star Press, the queer ones, like there's another one. Bold Strokes Books, possibly I queried. And then I was a very active on social media at the time. So there was a massive like well, not massive, but there was a pitch event. There was quite frequent pitch events back on Twitter in the day before Elon Musk ruined everything, where you just had to like pitch your book. It had to be completed, and if you got likes from industry executives, that meant you were welcome to go query them. I didn't get a like from Claire, but she followed me during that, and it was Liverpool Literary Agency, and I was like, oh my God, because there aren't many agents that I think she's the only Northern agency, or she was back then. And I thought, why not? She's Northern. She kind of advocates for Northern authors. So I went for it and I queried some more at the time as well. Just anybody I could find, really. Like a lot of it was just found through social media. Like everybody always asked me how do you find agents? And I was really fortunate to be at that time, at that point in time before Muskrat ruined it, where there was a lot of access to information. Everybody in the industry was on Twitter. Everybody who was trying to get into the industry was on Twitter. So it was easier because I know it's not always like transparent how you get book deals and stuff. Because even like when I was doing my creative writing degree, I didn't, nobody, there was like hints of how. There was like, you can find these directories of agents and publishers and you can go here and there, but I didn't get every step clearly marked out to me. So yeah, I so I yeah, I was just querying from that really from social media, finding any agents. They if you don't know, they have manuscript wish lists that they're looking for, and you can kind of match up to those if they work. I actually queried Ashley Herring Blake as well. She gave me a full manuscript request, which was like, whoa. But yeah, and that was it really. You have to give a query and letter, cover letter, which is why your book would be a good fit for that agent. A synopsis, 1 or 2 pages, and the first 3 chapters it usually is of the manuscript. So that was what I did. I was just sending them to as many places as I could find. I submitted to Harlequin, Carina, Press, basically anybody I could find, anybody that looked good, and it that was probably for like a month or two that I was just looking for new agents and kind of finding them along the way. And it helps to be in a community where people are sending you like agents that match your vibe. And I think by then I was also pretty used to writing romance for the market, writing romance because somebody wanted it, writing romance that people wanted more of.
Mhm.
So I was doing that anyway. Yeah, and Claire reached out. I found out that she lived quite cl she once lived in my little village, and she asked for a full manuscript, and she was at the time the only one who wanted it. Afterwards, I actually got a few other full requests, but by then we'd already had the call.
Mm.
So, yeah, that was it. I could tell she just got it.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad because I think having an agent who is like-minded, who has kind of grown up in the same environment and similar experiences, especially in the north of England, was like invaluable. She knew what I wanted out of books and kind of what she wanted to represent in books and that was it. But yeah. I was just really lucky that at the time
Mhm.
it seemed quite clear to me and the information was quite easy to come by. But I know that it's not, it is one of those things like there seems to be like a veil over publishing
Yeah.
that, not everybody can find the corner to peel back of.
Yeah. It's true.
That
And
was how I met my agent.
you can make a show out of it.
Yeah.
And last question is from Lillian. I would also love your thoughts on pen names and why people use them or don't use them. Well, you have so many pen names, and I assume at least some of them are part of the IP, but I'd love to know more about what goes into the decision or whatever you're allowed to say.
I get so many questions. I always get asked this, and it's kind of actually becoming a nightmare. I'm having identity crisis over it. Everybody wants to know why the fuck I'm like five different people now and valid. So I'll kind of try it in chronological order. So I started under my own name because I wanted everyone to know that I was getting published, that I was that girl.
Yep.
And I don't have a dad. My dad abandoned me when I was like 6 months old, and I wanted him to see my name somewhere one day and be
Fuck
like,
yeah. And now he'll see it in Azda or however you know to call it.
well, he won't because it's under
I
my
just
pen.
connected the two dots, but
Yeah.
whatever.
So maybe one day.
One day.
But yeah, I did, to be honest, I didn't care. I didn't care who knew my real name because I wasn't writing anything extremely smutty at the time. All my books were just sapphic romances, pretty wholesome, pretty soft, pretty cozy. And everybody already knew I was a writer. I'd always been a fan fiction writer. I'd always been that girl with the notebook somewhere in the corner. So, and I don't have that many friends or like people in real life who I don't want to know. Like
Mhm.
I don't, my circle is really small, so I didn't really care. So yeah, I went with Rachel Balder. I was fine with it, especially when I got my book deal. I was like, fuck yeah, my name's gonna be places. That's my name. I wanted to be proud of it.
Mhm.
It was my granddad's name and it's my family name and it also has roots to Thomas Bowdler, which I only found out recently.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going on a journey. And then I got the book deal while I was still writing for Everand and publishing monthly or nearly monthly novellas with them. And there was a clause in my contract with Embla, my Honeymoon for One publisher, that said you can't really bring out books of the same genre around the time that it would be published. And because I couldn't predict when Everand were putting out my books, I thought, will it just be easier to separate it with a pen name so that there's no clash or like I'm not breaking the contract in any way. So I did that, and that's when Bryony Rosehurst was born, and I kind of let myself go a bit steamier. I started writing poetry under that name so that just to kind of divide myself a little bit, have someone a bit less afraid of like people who I know seeing it.
Mm.
So I did that for a while. And now I'm now using Bryony Rosehurst as a pen name for Harlequin because they want something quite specific of me, and I just felt like it matched better with the books I
Mm.
was putting out under that name. I think if I chose to publish under my own name again, I'd keep to like the seasonal wholesome romances that I've started with that I started out with. I don't really care about my name anymore, so like that thing that I wanted back then, I don't care anymore. Don't, it's not a thing for me. Bonnie Woods came onto the scene when I was signed with Harper North because it is an IP. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell people that, but it is. So everything that went into that name was on Harper North's side. They wanted something that matched the vibe of the book. Woods was there, you know, in the hopes that maybe like Ali, it would relate to like Ali Hazelwood, like the other big names like that kind of had similar vibe names. Bonnie was a Scottish name. I was originally supposed to be Hazel, but they didn't want it. They didn't want Ali Hazelwood to sue me because it would
There.
be Hazelwood,
Mm.
which would be a little too
On the nose.
on the nose. Yeah. So yeah, we went with Bonnie, and I liked it because Bonnie Bennett's my favorite character in Vampire Diaries. And then they pitched Kill Me Softly to me, and because that's just slightly different in the market wise, the characters are younger. It's set in a college. It's just not, even though it's a romance and it sounds the same on the surface, it's like it's different tropes, it's different a different setting, it's a different vibe. So we went with BB Woods, which was they wanted to do B something Woods, and I was like, there's BR because I always have R and B in my names, but apparently there's a lot of BR authors, which I never noticed, but apparently there is. And then was like BB is cute, so we went with BB. Yeah. So weird, weird things go into a pen name that I never would have realized when I first started out. Didn't have, I didn't care about pen names. I didn't think they were important. I don't particularly think my original name sounds like an authory name, even though there's Thomas Bowdler, the Bowdlerization man.
There is Rachel Bowdler, the writer.
Well, there is, yeah, she does exist now, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly a fan of my original name. I don't really care if I change it. But yeah, so a lot of it's just separating different types of work, different
Mm.
who I'm working with at the time,
Yeah.
why I'm working with them, what I'm working on. It's something that you have your own control over in indie publishing. Do whatever the fuck you want with it in indie publishing.
Mm.
I don't think it's a huge deal. It's just a marketing thing, I guess, and who
Yeah.
it kind of it is a really nice opportunity to step back from your own self and
Mm.
like decide who you want to be as an author self because it's your professional. It's the professional version of you and the person you want to be perceived as when you're putting out those books. So yeah, it's a thing.
There you have it.
It can change. You're allowed to change it over time.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody for sending in listener questions. We didn't know what we were going to talk about, so this was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. You also had to like go through that decision of what name you wanted to take and whether you wanted to keep it or do it differently.
Yeah. I didn't want it to be obviously Czech because that would be difficult to remember, pronounce, anything. Like Ivana Maříková is very much Czech name.
Hmm.
And especially because like my first name, I'm being that this is how I'm being called on when like my mother is upset with me.
Hmm.
So like there is a trauma to it, and I don't like people calling me that. So I was like, I don't want that. I'm gonna delete like the very Czech accents, as you call them, diakritika, from my last name. But I felt a little sad because Ivana is a name that I got from my grandmother, who died like just a few months before I was born, and I was like, and that made me sad because that was the only connection that I had with her.
Mm.
So I've decided to put the age there. That's for Hruba, which is her last name. So to have her there like that at least. And now I have both sides of my family in the
Yeah.
name. Yeah. So it was very quick process. I didn't really have a lot of thought about it. It was very simple, very clear to me.
Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
already had your name out there for swords and sapphics. You were
Yeah.
already Ivy Marikova or Marikova as they would anglicize it as.
The as they would understand it. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it was very, yeah, that was, there's not much more to that, I think. Yeah.
And that's how we found out actually, because you brought it out on, was it your granddad's
Oh, yeah, my
birthday?
granddad's birthday. Yeah.
And my nana's birthday is on
Yeah.
that day as well. And that's how we found that out.
Yeah, that's true. Which, and also, like, I think we found it out several times over the
We must
years, but
have
I think we
done.
forgot.
We
We had
forget.
to, like, we had to, but
Yeah.
just,
We talk about, when you think about it, we talk about so much, we talk, that our brains are just constant and we
yeah.
talk all day, every day. So I forget a lot about what we talk
I
about, even
know.
though it's very meaningful and important to me.
I know. But it's just there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And at least not, then we had another thing to be excited about when we find it out. Okay.
Yeah. Like, see, you know how you always wish you could read a book again for the first time?
That
I get to know you every day for the first time over and over again. And isn't that romantic?
That is romantic. Very much. Yeah, that's true.
Anything else?
Nothing, I don't think, no.
You said that very northern. Nothing.
There we have it. Like, I'm just, my English is changing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I will say Kill Me Softly is out on the 22nd of May, and it would be
Mhm.
really nice if people bought it because I kind of want to keep doing this writer thing, even though it's stressing me the fuck out. So,
Yeah, that's valid. Yes. And
yeah.
people should buy it.
Yeah.
So,
It's up for pre-order and you can get it on NetGalley now as well if you want to read an arc.
cool.
Yeah. And we're going on a break now.
Oh yeah, this is the last episode of the first part of our fourth season. And
Yeah.
we're coming back in June.
With some new guests already lined up.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And some
So
very exciting ones in the back pocket.
get excited about it.
Yes, always.
I
Anything else?
don't think so.
Well, until next time,
Support women's rights.
but most importantly, support women's wrongs.
Even if she makes you edit the fuck out of an episode you just recorded because she talks bullshit.
Yeah, you will not hear the part where she just lost it, but that was
I'm not, yeah,
I'm gonna save it somewhere for sure. It was
yeah,
entertaining to
yeah,
watch.
I bet it was, yeah.
And we shall see you later, alligator.
In a while, crocodile.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening. You can expect an episode every other Wednesday.
And be sure to expect lots of guests, including authors and queer creators.
While waiting for the episodes, feel free to check out our website, swordsandsuffix.com.
Be sure to submit to our forms if you're a queer creator to be featured on our blog or our monthly release lists.
You can also take part in Swords and Suffix and Scribbles, which is a monthly writing event to help you reach your goals.
And if you're just looking for a community that will be supportive and joyful, you can join our Discord server where most of our writing events take place, but also we just have lots of conversations and lots of fun.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, and TikTok, where you can find us as all kinds of versions of Swords and Suffix.